Welcome, everybody, to Season 5, Episode 6 of The Buzz with yours truly, Mama T. Got an exciting show for you tonight. We are going to have a chat with Terry Goodsky. Now, Terry has his own show called Talking with Terry, and he's got so many other talents, some of which I just learned about. If you're into wrestling, if you're into DJing, if you need a producer, I mean, this guy's got it all. He knows how to do everything. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after we hear a brief message from Grand Forks Best Source. Today's episode is sponsored in part by Grand Forks Best Source. They're a cutting-edge local media broadcasting studio with captivating shows, on-location event coverage, and unparalleled advertising opportunities. Grand Forks Best Source has become a haven for podcasters like me seeking to bring their visions alive. If you're a podcaster looking for studio or platform, or a local business seeking to advertise, go ahead and email Paul at local@gfbestsource.com. You can call him at 701-740-9337, or you can go to their website that's listed on your screen there, gfbestsource.com. Tell them Mama T sent you. Hi, Terry. How you
doing? Something happened here.
Uh-oh. Can't you hear me now?
Blocked out here.
Well, that's weird. Okay. Now you can't hear me all of a sudden? See, all our sound checks went fine. Everything went fine.
Can't hear anything.
Did you grab the volume button by mistake?
Okay.
We do have some live viewers already. Hi, Ricky. Hi, Dawn. Let's see. Try the volume on your phone. Is that better?
Yeah.
Did you hit the volume button by accident?
Don't know what's happening.
I don't either.
It says Buzz Live. Something happened again.
Maybe we'll kick him out.
I checked my internet here. I don't know what's going on here. Let's see.
We're gonna kick him out and bring him back on, because that's what happens once in a while.
Stop my cam.
Exit.
That's good.
And
having technical difficulties here.
Yes. Enter.
Okay.
Again. Here, I'll try that. Okay. Well, you know this show, every once in a while, we've got to have our technical difficulties. And you know what? I kind of half expected it, just because. So earlier today, my phone was acting up, and then Margaret doesn't have Wi-Fi, but I've got this old laptop that's got a CD drive in it that reads DVDs. So I thought, I'll just send that over with her. And this thing, I could not remember my PIN. It took me probably a half an hour, 45 minutes to get into this laptop, just because they kept saying the pin's wrong, the pin's wrong, the pin's wrong. And then it said, you have to download an app to be able to remember your PIN or something like that. And I was like, and then it said, well, you have to put your PIN number in to download the app. And I was like, what? What? So, yeah, he hasn't left the room yet. Kick him off and tell him to come back in.
So I don't know what the problem is.
Can you hear me now?
I'm still having technical difficulties here. I don't know. We did do a mic check, video check. I don't know. I can't hear anything.
Well, I sent him a message to exit and enter again, but it doesn't look like he's seen it yet. Jeremy, why don't you try sending him an email that says the same thing? Anyway, this laptop has its built-in DVD drive, and I thought that would be a nice thing to do for my kids. They don't have a TV, they don't have Wi-Fi. So send them the laptop that's got the DVD drive, and I've got a bunch of old Beavis and Butthead DVDs and some kids movies and stuff like that. Beavis and Butthead. I mean, guess where I got those from? Um, but yeah, it took me forever to even get into it. Finally, I was like trying to, you can add another user or whatever, and it wouldn't let me even do that. So finally, he says, okay, leave the room with the red button on the bottom, then click the link again. I didn't know he could see the private chat. So there we go. We'll see if that works. Because for some reason it does that. I hate technology. I finally got the good news is I finally got into the laptop. I created her own profile, so she won't have to have Wi-Fi to turn it on or anything like that. And I'm trying to go through all of the DVD reading apps because I thought it had one of those, like you could just use the media player on it, but apparently not, because I clicked on them. I put it in Ant-Man and the Wasp or something, and it wouldn't automatically play. So if anybody knows anything about HP laptops and how you can get the DVD to play automatically, let me know. But Terry should be here. He should be back on here. I told him leave the room with the red buttons. And see, our sound check went fine. Our video check went fine. He could hear me. I could hear him. I could see him. He could see me. Nobody was freezing up. We sat and chatted for about 10 minutes and then rolled the intro, and all of a sudden he couldn't hear nothing. And see, that's the thing. He didn't have it was working. Okay, he's gone now. Now he's gonna click the okay. Tori. Hi, Tori. Dawn's here, Ricky's here. And our guest should be with us shortly. Like I said, everything went fine. And then all of a sudden it didn't. And can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you finally.
Yay! Okay, it worked. See, for some reason, sometimes we have to kick them off and they have to come back on. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you at all. And I'm not very good at lip reading, so I couldn't even say what you're talking about. I'm like, she's saying something. I don't know what. I was like, and then, I was
And I
like,
didn't know that you could see the private chat when you're on the cell phone doing it, because I haven't done StreamYard from my cell phone, so I didn't know you could see the private chat.
yeah,
Because I
just
sent you a messenger message. So
yeah,
today we have Terry Goodsky with, how do you say it,
Niji Radio,
and that is out of
White Earth, Minnesota, Callaway.
Callaway. That was the town I was trying to think of, because we drove through there so many times on our way to the cities, I think.
Well, you really can't miss it. It's just like if you're heading south on 59, it's the old Callaway School on the right-hand side.
Yeah. And I think we even went inside once. I can't remember what we were doing.
So yeah,
Bobby,
well, we got a bigger studio due to COVID, protocol. So we have we can fit up to, like, instead of like the old studio used to just have you do a one-on-one interview, but now due to the COVID protocols, we have like 4 more mics added to our bigger studio. So we have a great big room now with a great big table and like 3 different microphones.
Sweet. And see, I'm just in my, I've got an apartment and my bedroom is actually over the top of the barbershop here in McIntosh.
Yeah.
So I'm just like in the corner of my bedroom. I call it my studio. There's like, the room dividers, those folding room dividers. Well, I've got 2 of them and they've got picture frames on them. And in all the picture frames, I put different buzz newsletters with all the different stories. So I got pictures of Bobby looking at me. I've got a bunch of different guests and different musicians that I've interviewed, and Yeah, yeah. So it keeps me in the Bobby zone when I'm
Yeah.
doing this.
Well, we have the kind of the same thing at the Niji Radio Studio. We have like pictures on we have like not pictures but little laminated photos of the people from the past shows. So we have kind of a whole little wall dedicated to like our past shows that we've helped produce and make over the air,
That's
like little
awesome.
kid shows and my show, Joe Dan's show, Mac's show. Um, I can't even remember how many shows that we've done. Play it by ear, cruising the blues, and things like that. That's how we originally got involved with Little Bobby, because we were looking for another artist for our music mixdowns. So
So you guys have played his music. Do you guys, are you guys still playing his music?
um I'm not in charge of the music. Our program director. So, but we do have little Bobby is in our rotation. I do believe
Sweet.
so. But we're waiting for that new CD. So I'm gonna definitely
Which
have
one?
the one that he just made not too long ago before he passed.
Oh, you don't
Yeah.
guys don't have that one?
No, so that's why I'm trying to throw the hint out right now.
Okay. All right. All right.
you
All
know,
right. Needs a new C.
sometimes
Okay.
you got to throw the subtle hints in there. We don't have that new CD yet. A hint,
Mm-hmm.
hint. Hook it up. Oh, I must
Yeah.
be getting
Every once in a while, when a guest is on, I'll be doing the same thing. I don't know. Oh, that would be really nice to have. I don't have your new CD.
yeah, hint. If you don't get it by now,
Right.
but
Right. Um. So, oh, hi. Justin's watching too. Hi, sweetie. So, tell me about Niji Radio and like how much area do you guys cover? Are you guys online or anything? Or
uh,
is it just
I don't even know what our coverage area is. Uh, well, when I'm in a car, I can sometimes pick it up in Bemidji, and sometimes when I'm in a car, I can pick it up all the way to Fargo. So that is what is that? 45 miles, almost 90 miles a radius around from Callaway.
wow?
Yeah,
That's
it's
and do you guys have a website at all? Do you like
yes, for sure. www.nijiradio.com. That's NIIJIIRADIO.com. And just click on the listen live link.
oh, we got another viewer. Maybe you know this guy, Latimer Boston Boyo.
Who's that? No.
He was a drummer with Acoustics. He used to he was with WRLN.
I hate to say it, but when you get to age 55, you don't remember a lot of things besides breathing, which is natural. It's like everyone's like, you remember? No, it's
WRLN, Red Light
like
Nation Radio.
even as a singer, hey, do you remember this song? I was like, do you remember that one song? Like, what song? That one. How does that lead go? I'm like, you got me, buddy. I was like,
I don't know what I don't know. I don't even know what the chorus is. You sing too?
yes, I'm a singer.
You were a man of so many talents, and we're going to get to them all.
Yes.
Let's chat a little bit more about Niji Radio. Um, what kind of content do you guys have on Niji Radio, and how can people find it on the radio dial?
It's on 89.9 FM. It's well, 89.9 FM is usually like close to like most of the native radio shows or stations in basically North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota. They got, what is it, KILE out of Siston Wahpeton area. That if our signal is not strong enough, people can pick up their signal over ours. Like if our signal goes down, then people listen to that radio station. But if ours is up and running, then they listen to Nietzsche Radio. So,
What
so
kind of
people was
content
like,
you guys got? You guys play a lot of music. You guys got a lot of talk shows.
no, I'm the only live DJ we have out of all the radio DJs that started when I started there. We used to have a rolling rotation of radio DJs, like the morning person, the afternoon person, the midnight person, the afternoon people, the syndicated shows, and then finally, I don't know what happened, but our numbers just start dwindling down to, it came down to me and the afternoon person, and then the afternoon person quit last year. So for about 1 year now, I'm when the smoke cleared, I'm the only person left.
You're the
So,
guy. You're the guy. How did you get involved with Nietzsche Radio?
well, I started with KBFT in 2012. The general manager asked me, that I've worked with him in the past. He wanted to do some interview shows. So he asked me if I wanted to do some interviews for the radio station, KBFT. And I was like, yeah, sure. I said, because my previous work as a Apollo MC, that I'm used to working, working with the mic. So I said, yeah, sure. What programs do I need to learn? And he goes, well, you just need like a music mix down. He goes, you need a laptop, and I'll you come up to KBFT. I'll show you all the programs you need. So I went up to KBFT and I said, well, what are you specifically looking for? He goes, kind of power acknowledgement, power knowledge. The songs, the dances, the staff, the head staff, what the arena director does, what the drum groups do, what they're singing, what the MC does, the style of dances that are kind of pertains to Minnesota. So I went in search of knowledge for that for the radio station, and ran around basically not the United States, but basically Ojibwe country, north, south, Minnesota, Wisconsin, um, finding out, how these dances started, or these styles started, and the origins of the dances, and even the origins of some of the songs.
So you're kind of a powwow historian as well, among your other talents.
My knowledge of is not very extensive, but I have did some shows on some of our dances that pertains to Ojibwe country.
Okay. And then you also have your own show, Talking with Terry, which we
Yeah.
are doing right now. Tell me about that.
Well, as I said before, we've had three different morning people at Niji Radio. There was Mac, then there was Jodan, and then there was me. So as I said before, I'm the only one that's still up and going, and Mac and Jodan have moved on to do other things. So I've been the morning guy for about 12 years now. And I just play a variety of music, and I tell bad jokes, and I do community announcements, Minnesota Morning News, national news, pep talk, this date in Native American history. I also do Native news. I do community events, power announcements. I do a really bad version of birthday shout outs, about 10:30. So I just go in and try to make people laugh in the morning. You know,
That's
there, there-
awesome.
there's too much sadness in the world, so I try to play a variety of music, and so people don't get, they'll listen to a country song, then they'll listen to a power song, whether it's flute music or or power music. Then I'll switch it up to like heavy metal.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
and then I'll play some R&B, or just to kind of throw the little, people are, in the morning, they'll hear, say Lake Vermilion, then they'll hear the Misfits, or Danzig, or even Wasp. It's like, you just say like, oh, that's a nice song. That's a nice round dance. That's a nice sidestep. Next thing you know, you'll hear, Danzig, Mother, come on, or Marilyn Manson, You're So Vain. It's like, I was like, no, don't get comfortable. You're not gonna get comfortable listening to just one genre of music. I'm gonna throw everything at you. So
That's awesome. I love stations like that. Um, a little shout out because we do have I don't know if Soko's watching, but we've got the DJ from WRLN that we do a commercial for too. Um, and he does all the different genres too. He's got Soko Saturday, and he does all the different genres too. And I really love that about radio stations where you can turn it on because you don't know what mood you're in, you don't know what kind of music you're in the mood for, but you don't want to listen to straight country or talk radio constantly, or and I like the little announcements. I mean, I haven't actually listened to your show yet, and I am going to go to NIJJIRADIO.com,
yep, that's it.
and I am going to listen to your show. What time is it on?
On Monday through Friday, 7 to 11 a.m. So, but
Oh, that
I
means I
get
have
to
to get out of bed. Wait a minute.
yeah. Well, that's those are some people say vampire hours, but it's the people listen to my show when they go to head into work, and I'll throw a song that usually gets stuck in their head sometimes. It's like that, like Werewolves of London from Warren Zevon. And I was
Oh,
like,
I love that one.
and this is I play this for everybody and get their howl on in the morning, to whether you're heading to work or not, or or play Johnny Horton, New Orleans, or who's that? Not New Orleans, but no, New Orleans by who sings that song again? That's who
My
does
brain is
that?
right where yours is.
Yeah, so and I'll play some Joe Cocker, uh, you
Yeah.
know, stuff,
Gotta have that
something.
earworm in the morning.
So yeah, just to get so or even a bad joke where someone will say, ah, that joke was stuck in my head all morning. Thank you. I
Like
was like,
dad jokes.
yeah, no bad jokes. Yeah, not dad jokes, but bad jokes. I'll even
Are any clean enough for here?
yes, yeah, they're all clean. You
All
know,
right.
okay, here.
Let's hear a bad joke.
Okay, this is I hope you have to be kind of politically correct nowadays. You can't just say what you want. Due to you'll offend somebody one form of another.
Yep.
So here's one that I said, okay, well, how did the pirate become such a great boxing champion and so fast?
I don't know.
Because nobody could handle his right hook.
Wah, 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 wah,
Yeah,
wah.
rim shot. you know and,
How did
and
you get involved in the radio business in the first place? What made you think that you just, what? I think I want to be on the radio.
well, somebody told me at one time I have a face for radio, so I said, so I ran with it. And someone said, Terry, I think you have a face for radio. I was like, well, thank you. No, you really have a clear voice that resonates, that just people listen. So I said, all right, yeah, let's you ever think about doing a radio show, or even like the general manager for KBFT. I've worked with him before. We've both been MCs, and he said, do you want to do some work for us? It's like, yeah, sure. So, and then when I moved over here to White Earth, I went to Niji Radio and said, I want a job. Do you have a job opening? I'm very good with mic skills. I'm shoot from the hip. Um, and that's what got me involved in other things too. So, but yeah, I just that's the thing. All I can do is make people laugh in the morning with really bad jokes and stuff like that. So, like, another joke that I say it. I hope as I said before, I'm an equal opportunist offender, not opportunity agency offender. Like, all
Yeah.
right, here's one that you probably know. How does Lady Gaga like her steak?
I don't know.
Now sing with
Rah,
me.
rah, rah, rah.
Rah 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 rah.
Okay. How do you wake Lady Gaga up in the morning?
Poker in the face.
Poker face. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Poker face.
So yeah. See, and people like it. Like sometimes people like really just really get right to it. Like, in the morning I listen to your show, and I was like, yeah, and your jokes suck. I was like, well, thank you. And, and I was
You were
like,
listening,
okay,
weren't you? You
yeah.
remember
I
it,
was
don't
like,
you?
and the thing is, we're such a small radio station that I don't. We like the Nelson's Radians. We don't know who's really listening to us because we're a Class C licensed radio station. So I don't know who listens to me in the morning. But once in a while, I'll go live and people will say, "Oh, hey, give me a shout out. Give me, say hi. How you doing? And we're from here, and we listen to you on the internet, or we listen to you on the radio while we go to work. And that, thanks for making us laugh." And I was like, "Yes." And once in a while, I do, work in the community. We do cultural exchange with the Cultural Center in New York Mills. I sometimes MC their event for them with collaboration with Niji Radio. Also, we do Muskie Days in July in Nevis, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Shameless plug. So I MC that event, and I introduce the artists and the bands, and I tell bad jokes, and I hype them up about it. What merchandise they have, if they have stickers or T-shirts or CDs or. Some of the older guys, I joke with them, and I say, "All right, yeah, he still has some 8 tracks and some 33s and
A little bit of
45s."
vinyl.
Yeah, some vinyl. He's not making CDs or anything like that. You can't find his movie on Spotify, but he's still got some 8 tracks and some 33s and some 55s. If somebody still wants to buy him, and you're like 8 tracks. Thanks, Terry. I was like, you're
I
welcome.
think the first year I was with Bobby, he played at Nevis.
So
I think he
yeah,
played at the Muskie Days.
yeah, that was, yeah. It's we do that in July, and and I try to make sure that everybody is comfortable. When the bands come up, I just tell them, take a deep breath. This isn't your first rodeo, but just go there and, you block everything out. Is once you hit that mic, you get to a spot where you block everything out and it's just you and the music. And so some of the guys are like a little nervous. I was like, this isn't a really big crowd, but you know what to do. This isn't your first rodeo. So just run with it and just have fun. I said,
Support the
you're here,
musicians.
you're
Hey,
here for the music.
that's one of our goals here. We support the musicians
And
and the
that's what I
live
tell them. I was
music.
like, and the same thing. I brag up the artists a little bit, and I say, all right, they do have. You can find their movie on Spotify or you know Apple Music or even their CDs, bumper stickers, stuff like that. And I tell if you like the music that you are listening to, we do have a little donation bucket here. If you guys want to, help the starving artists out. I said, I teased Bobby. I said, by the looks of it, he ain't starving, but if you want to throw some, you want to throw some, few dollars this way, he sure would
For some
appreciate.
Jim Beam, some Jim Beam
Yeah,
cash. You put the Jim
yeah.
Beam cash in the bucket.
I was like, but yeah, he was like, thanks, Terry. I was like, you're welcome. I was like, later he goes, nobody's ever done my intro like that before. It doesn't look like I'm starving. I was like, you're welcome. And that's the thing. When you build that camaraderie with somebody, it's just, no matter who they are, they're people just like everybody else. And
Yeah.
you can joke with people and just have fun. You don't have to be disrespectful. You just put it out there as that they're the people, and they're everyday people, no matter in every walks of life.
Yeah. We do have an ad break coming up here. Vladimir Boston Boyo says, "Good afternoon. Good afternoon to you." Um, we will be right back, and we will talk. Should we talk some wrestling after the break?
Wrestling, mixed martial arts, whatever you want to talk about.
All right.
I, one of the other things that I help out with too in the communities and just have fun. As I said before, I'm just here
Well,
to
we're
have.
having fun so far, and stick around right after this commercial break. We'll have some more fun.
All right, cool. All right, we'll see you guys in.
When it comes to podcasts and social media, stick with the best. Grand Forks' best source. Keep up to date with local happenings and news, interviews with city leaders, athletes, nonprofits, and of course, lots of feel-good stories. You know, Grand Forks' best source is a great way to advertise your business or events with the most economical ad packages available. And contact us to find out how you can have your own podcast with the best studio in the area. Check out Grand Forks' best source on your favorite social media app. Grand Forks' best source, the Forks' best local podcast. Call 701-213-0863 or online at gfbestsource.com. We love the Forks. Grand Forks' best source, giving the Forks their identity again.
What's up, Red Lake Nation Radio? This is your host, DJ Soko. Come join me if you're Ace or Donnell from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. every Soko Saturday, where I have a new segment, Soko's Metal Madness Hour from 7 to 8 p.m., bringing the North all the new and classic metal to the masses. The first 3 hours will be the old school hits, the rock and roll classics, and all other genres of music. Even country. So come take a cruise with me, DJ Soko, bringing the fire right here on 105.3 WRLN, Red Lake Nation Radio. Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by AFS Automated Financial Services, your partner for fast, reliable, and affordable payment processing. Whether you're taking payments at the counter, on the go, online, or through a full POS system, AFS makes it easy to get paid anywhere, anytime. They handle credit, debit, EBT, gift, and loyalty cards across every industry and touchless options available for all in-person transactions. Entrepreneurs and ISOs can even earn monthly residuals through AFS partnership opportunities. The tools are yours. The income is yours. You'll get approvals in under an hour. 24-hour equipment deployment or reprogramming. Low, simple rates, matched or beaten, or they pay you, and 24/7 live customer service. You get the technology, rates, and support your business deserves. For a free cost analysis or rate quote, call 1-877-738-5010 or visit automatedfinancialservice.com. AFS, smart technology, real service, better business.
Visit littlebobbybuzz.com, your source for Little Bobby merch and music. Keep up with the bar and don't forget about the buzz with Mama T. That's littlebobbybuzz.com.
We're back. So, I saw this picture on Facebook of you advertising Talking with Terry, and you were wearing some kind of belt.
Oh, that's my MMA title.
You have an MMA title.
Yes, I do have an MMA title, but the thing is, I didn't win it. It was my payment. I did a gig in Standing Rock with two guys that were putting together a show down there, and at the end of the event, we had the after party in the bar, and one of the promoters comes up and he goes, "Terry, we have a problem." I'm like, "Okay, what's the problem?" He goes, "All of our sponsors didn't come through." And I was like, you should tell me this before I, left my house the other day that, well, we didn't know about it until just now. And I'm like, "Okay, so what's the problem?" He goes, our set figure that we were going to pay you on, we can't give you that set amount. And I'm like, but then I said, "All right, so what can you give me then?" He goes, "Well, we can give you, I was like, and then the guy was like, "Well, to kind of lessen our payment. He goes, because we're really struggling right now with money. He goes, do you want the belt? And I was like, oh, well, what does it look like and how much does it weigh? So he sends me a picture and he goes, well, it's almost 10 pounds. And I was like, and he sent me that picture, and that current picture is like, I'll take the belt and $75. That covers my gas money home. I said, so he gave me the title. So that's what I bring with me, and that's what. And even now, it's like people are always like talking about, well, where's the belt? Where's the belt? I'm like, even when I'm at Walmart, they'll like, some people recognize me like, well, where's the belt? I'm like, I'm not gonna drag it around with me. It's about 10 pounds. I'm not gonna, and it doesn't, I'm a very big guy, so, very big belly, so it definitely doesn't fit around me, but it goes over my shoulder really nice.
I remember you walking into a Little Bobby's bar with that over your shoulder. I'm like, who's this guy? Who's this guy?
And I do that with like some of the wrestling promotions. I walk in with the title, and I was like, I just joke around with, like, I went to an event in Thief River Falls, and only the promoter knew who I was. So I walked in and I had the belt over my shoulder. I said, I've come here to challenge your champion. I'm here to take him apart. And the lady was like, I gotta see this. Come with me. And so we go backstage, and she goes, hey, this guy's here wants to take our champ apart. And the promoter goes, oh, hey, Terry. And I was like, so I was like, do you know him? He goes, yeah, he's from MMA. And he was like, he's also a radio DJ. He goes, Terry, you can sit anywhere besides, you can do anything you want. He goes, just don't sit in the first 2 rows because that's VIP. But he goes, welcome to the show. He goes, and I did some promotional work for him too, and bragged up his show on my show, and and try to get the interview with his champion and their event. So I threw him some promotion on my radio show too. It's like, hey, you're not doing anything Saturday. Go to the Thief River Armory in Thief River Falls, Minnesota. I said they got some live matches there, pro wrestling, and so I went to their event and just helped out the local people, the local events, the local talent, and throw a few bucks their way, for some photos and stuff like that. So, and I put their belt against mine, and of course mine's heavier and bigger. So, and I'm kind of bigger than most of the wrestlers anyway. So, and I weigh about 320, about 5'9" on a 5'9", on a good day. So, and
The older we get, our vertebrae start shrinking.
Yeah, so as I said, I'm 5'9" on a good day, but wearing shoes and sometimes boots, I'm close to pushing 6 foot. So,
yeah, I bet you're pretty intimidating. You walk in with that belt, people are like, "Oh crap!"
Yeah, and that's why I do even do security for some events too. Because I just walk in and I'm like a moving wall, and I've never had to throw a punch or get physical with anybody. And
you just have to look down and say, "Hey, stop that."
I just like, really, do you really want to be dumb and go sit in jail for this? Come on now, just use a calmer head, just settle down and behave. I was like,
behave yourselves.
Yeah, I did an event last year in Detroit Lakes. Like the promoter called me and goes, hey, you want to come help us out work security? I was like, yeah, sure. He goes, did you bring your sunglasses? I was like, yeah, I got my sunglasses in the car. He goes, well, go get them. I said, all right, cool. So I went and got him, and he started assigning everybody things, all right, you're going to be outside. You 2 people are going to be outside watching the parking lot. You're going to be here. You're going to be checking tickets. You're going to be upstairs behind the glass. You're going to be downstairs by the glass. You're going to be by the exits. You're going to be by the porta potties. You're going to, and he got to me, and I was like, okay, so Chris, what do you want me to do? He goes, you come with me. It's like, okay, we're going to get you a bar stool. It's like, all right. He goes, he got me a bar stool. He goes, all right, you're going to sit right here. He goes, you don't even have to move. You don't even have to get up. He goes, I want you to keep an eye on where the fighters are coming in so nobody messes with them, and keep an eye on the bar. And he goes, next thing you know, he goes, oh, and another thing, he goes, don't smile at all. Like, oh, okay. And you got your sunglasses? Yeah. He goes, you can just sit here, and you can watch your fights too. Like, okay, all right. So, and the thing is, when people always ask me like, what do you make for that? How much you get paid for that when you work security and stuff like
For
that?
just
Like,
sitting there.
I just do it for free. I do it for free because I like going out and I like helping people. People are
Wow.
asking, like, really, you do that all that stuff for free? I was like, yeah, it's a chance to go meet new people and
Yeah.
and interact with people. As I said before, I'm always throwing a shameless plug out for somebody and events and stuff like that. And this on the 25th, they do have what is it, boxing? Or is it kickboxing in Detroit Lakes this Saturday on the 25th at Kent Freeman Arena.
All
The
right.
event that I've worked for the last 2 years, but I'm doing something else that Saturday. So shameless plug, you know.
How did you even get involved with MMA and kickboxing and all this stuff? How did this even come about?
Well, I started off with MMA in I think 2018. I was at Apollo doing emceeing the event, and somebody comes up and he goes, and his name is Chris Hicks. He's from Wisconsin, Red Cliff. He goes, I'm starting up an MMA promotion. I was like, yeah, well, good luck, and we need more, positive people out there doing positive things with people. I said, even though MMA is kind of like, a dog eat dog sport, and I said, but these guys will come in with bad intentions once the cage door closes. I said, but afterwards they'll hug it out and they'll be at the bar having a drink. I said, but it's just the minute that door closes, the smiles go away, and the bad attitudes come in. And but after it's all done, you can see him, talking about, but he come up to me and he asked me, he goes, I need a ring announcer. And I don't know if he is joking with me or not. He goes, do you know anybody that has a nice clear voice that that could handle doing ring announcing? I was like, gee, Chris, I don't know where you're gonna find somebody like that has good mic skills and a clear voice, and just a straightforward attitude. Good luck with that. And the thing is, so he asked me to be his ring announcer, but then he got scared and he went, he said, yeah, we're going to be doing the event in, Ashland, Wisconsin. He goes, we're going to do it on this date. He goes, you show up in like an hour before the event so you can, pronounce everybody's names right and who's fighting on the card and, the protocols of doing ring announcing. So I said, okay. So like 1 week before the event, he puts out a flyer and my name isn't even as the ring announcer. He went with a local talent because I don't know, just because a local person. But then all of a sudden he calls me after he puts up the flyer and he goes, "Are you still my ring announcer?" Like,
You tell me.
yeah, I was like, yeah. So I said, I was like, I'm the ring announcer, right? And he goes, yeah. He goes, but you're not from here. You're not a local talent. I said, okay, well, I'm going to show up the way I want to show up. Then, if I'm not, on the not the main guy, I said, or I did it in basketball shorts and a t-shirt. Then he goes, and then after the event, he goes, we're trying to be professional here, Terry. He goes, do you have a dress shirt and dress pants? I was like, yes, I got a dress shirt and dress pants, dress shoes. I said, yeah, but just so you know that if I'm not advertised as a ring announcer, I'm not going to show up in ring announcer attire.
Right.
I'm going to show up just as me. And so I did the event, and it was our first event. It was like 800 people in a
Wow.
hockey arena, and I did the event, and I made fun of the Green Bay Packers in Wisconsin. So, but after the event, and that's how I got originally started in mixed martial arts. Then after that, I did commentary. I, helped set up the ring, work security, DJ, even a fighter second at one time. And from there, I started working with the other groups in Minnesota, as just opening up the event with a song and a prayer, and whatever they need help with. As I said before, security, ring tech, commentary, or things like that. So I've worked with Valhalla Combat and Throne Mixed Martial Arts here in Fargo, North Dakota. Valhalla Combat in the Twin Cities, and what's another one that I worked for in Iowa too. So
Latimer Boston Boyle, the devil, you say?
yeah, and I've even been a timekeeper too. So record how fast people get knocked out or submitted. And one event, as I did, one person got knocked out in 6 seconds. The guy just stormed across the ring and hit him with one good solid left hook or right hook and put him to sleep in 6 seconds. And the ring announcer comes over to me and goes, "How fast was that?" I said, 6 seconds. Or I was doing ring announcing, and I had to run over to the timekeeper, and I was like, "Hey, how fast was that?" 6 seconds. I was like, 6 seconds? He goes, "Yeah, 6 seconds." So I had to make an announcement. I was like, "All right, your winner by TKO in 6 seconds of the first round." And I was like, "What?" I was like, and the other guy wasn't prepared for the onslaught or the massacre. It just happened
Keep your
that
hands
fast.
up. Keep your hands up.
Yeah,
Keep your hands. Protect yourself.
I just exited the cage, and I'm just gonna take my spot right next to the, right next to the table, and I just sat down, and next thing you know, a referee runs in, and you hear that a little buzzer sound, and I was like, I just got comfortable. Just go back up the little stairs and climb back in the cage, and run over the timekeeper. How fast was that? 6 seconds. It's like 6 seconds. And I was like, but yeah, and as I said before, I've did everything for mixed martial arts, timekeeper, even a fighter second. I knew a guy that didn't have anybody to, he just showed up and he was on a card and he didn't have any, to train with. So we worked with the pads and worked. Yeah, it's kind of an older gentleman, so we worked with the pads and tell him to keep his hands up, and and he was taking a lot of punches, and I was a second, so, and he got stopped in the middle of the second, almost the very end of the second round. He was taking too many punches, but he was still in the fight. So I had to jump up and I get in the ring, and I'm in the referee's face. I was like, my guy was he could have went another 5 seconds with the punches he was taking, because he wasn't really in any danger. But then the ref said, he was taking punches, but and I got to protect him before he gets to that point where he gets hurt.
Right.
So I was still pissed off. I was like, hyped up. I was like, keep your guard up, keep your guard up. Watch his hands, watch his hands. Keep your guard up, watch his hands, watch his hands. Just make sure, he doesn't get comfortable hitting you. So, and then all of a sudden he's just taking punches, and the referee stops it. And I get mad, and I'm like, I was like, whatever. I was like, so we had to do the walk of shame back to the.
Oh, jeez.
Back.
Okay, well, we do have another commercial break. We got to cut to our last commercial break. And when we come back, we can talk about your musical involvement, the things you do as far as production and editing and stuff like that. Okay. And stick around. We'll be right back.
All right, cool. Okay.
When it comes to podcasts and social media, stick with the best. Grand Forks' best source. Keep up to date with local happenings and news, interviews with city leaders, athletes, nonprofits, and of course, lots of feel-good stories. Grand Forks' best source is a great way to advertise your business or events with the most economical ad packages available. And contact us to find out how you can have your own podcast with the best studio in the area. Check out Grand Forks Best Source on your favorite social media app. Grand Forks Best Source, the Forks' best local podcast. Call 701-213-0863 or online at gfbestsource.com. We love the Forks. Grand Forks Best Source, giving the Forks their identity again.
What's up, Red Lake Nation Radio? This is your host, DJ Soko. Come join me if you're Acer Donnell from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. every Soko Saturday, where I have a new segment, Soko's Metal Madness Hour from 7 to 8 p.m., bringing the North all the new and classic metal to the masses. The first 3 hours will be the old school hits, the rock and roll classics, and all other genres of music. Even country. So come take a cruise with me, DJ Soko, bringing the fire right here on 105.3 WRLN, Red Lake Nation Radio. Yeah.
Grand Forks, start your engines and listen close. The Red River Valley Motorcyclist Spirit of America Bike and Car Show is rolling into the Alara Center for an action-packed weekend you don't want to miss. Saturday, May 2nd and Sunday, May 3rd. Admission is just $10. Kids 12 and under get in free with a paying adult. But here's where it gets big. Raffle tickets are just $50, and only 4,000 tickets will be sold. That's it. Once they're gone, they're gone. Now, those $50 tickets, they give you a shot at over $100,000 in prizes, including a Harley-Davidson Road Glide. Second prize is a Polaris Ranger Crew Cab Trail Boss with trailer. Third prize, a Yamaha gas golf cart. Get your $50 raffle ticket now by calling Tim at 701-739-1605 or stop in at Brewski's. And remember, every dollar raised benefits the Veterans Honor Flight of North Dakota and Minnesota, helping honor the men and women who served our country. $10 to get in, $50 to win big. Only 4,000 raffle tickets available. Call 701-739-1605 or visit Brewski's in Thompson today. Spirit of America Bike and Car Show, May 2nd and 3rd at the Alara Center.
Visit littlebobbybuzz.com, your source for Little Bobby merch and music. Keep up with the bar and don't forget about the buzz with Mama T. That's littlebobbybuzz.com.
And we're back. And for those that tuned in late, we did have a little technical difficulty that at the beginning of the show. So we're tacking an extra 10 minutes on to the end of the show here. We're going to cut that out on the replays. So our show is still an hour long. Don't worry. We are talking with Terry Goodsky with Niji Radio. And he's told us about his DJ career. He has told us about the fights, the professional fights he is announced for, and some security jobs he's worked. And now we're going to get into the music part of Terry's career. You mentioned that you have done producing and editing, and you've got like your name on 20 CDs now?
Somewhere around there. I first started I did my first recording down in Albuquerque, New Mexico for Gathering of Nations. I sang down there with an invited drum, and I think the earlier recordings was a flag song and also Grand Entry. And that was in 91 or 92. Then after that, I sang with another group in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma in 97. Then in 99, I did another CD recording with a group. Then I did in 1999 or 2000, I sang with my family group, Lake Vermilion. And then I sang with other groups and other groups and other groups. And, and I've just finally somebody decided, well, Terry, you sang with these other groups, what drum group's good, what the quality sounds. He goes, you want to help me put it together a CD? I was like, yeah, sure. He goes, so I went to his studio, and I think it was like 100 35th, 36th White Earth Powell. I went down there, and that was the first time being paid as a producer. I sat and listened to drum groups. He goes, "What do you think about this one?" So I had to sit in the studio and just listen to music. And I was like, I hate to be like a hater, but I was like, I don't think you want to put these guys on a CD. What about this group? And so we sat in there and listened to the whole song. I was like, sounds good. He goes, well, okay, what about this group? And so I sat in the studio with him for about like 3 hours, just listening to different drum groups. And he goes, all right, now we have our tracks here. He goes, but I don't know who they are. He goes, I don't know what happened I don't know what happened to my list. He goes, so now you got to listen to all these tracks again and find out what drum groups that are singing these songs. I was like, okay. So I just sat there and just listened. I was like, all right, this is an Intertribal. This is a Sneak Up. This is by, and you can just tell the different types of songs. Some were just some by the beat, a double beat, a sidestep, an Intertribal, a trick song, and grand entry or veteran song, or things of that nature. So I was like, so I had to sit there for another 3 hours, just editing his work that he recorded. And then at the end of the day, I said, well, so I sat in the studio for about 3 hours, just going over his work that he recorded. And then he goes, all right, here you go. So here's the songs you wanted. Here's the drum groups that we agreed upon. Here's the songs they sang, and this is it. And this is how much 3 minutes, 4 minutes, however the amount was. I said, this is how long the song was. And he hands me a check, and I look at it, and I'm like, hey, is this real? I was like, yeah, that's how much producers get paid. I was like, okay, this is a check for like $450. He goes, yeah, that's a low end of being a producer. I was like, oh, and then all of a sudden,
I can do this.
yeah, and then when the CD comes out, he forgets to put my name as the song arrangements by, and I was like, okay, so I did the work, and then the CD came out. It's so then he asked me again to do another CD for him, but then he put my name on there, assistant producer.
Uh,
I was like, okay. So and then he gave me a box of CDs that I could sell for myself,
Sweet.
and that was in 2007.
So you said you sang. What kind of songs did you sing? When did you start singing?
I started singing when I was like 15 years old, so I've been doing it for almost 40 years now.
And what
I'm a
genres would you say?
Apollo singer. The same thing with Powell's singer, Powell committee, arena director, MC. I'm getting to the part where people even try to ask me now for like to do like a prayer in the native language, and I'm like, I'm not fluent. I'm not a pipe keeper. And some people are just like, well, you do the best you can, as long as you acknowledge the spirits first.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, well, because I had to do an event last year in Lake Vermilion. The spiritual advisor didn't show up, and we had elders waiting to eat. And so I was like, Terry, can you speak for the food? It's like, yeah. So, I spoke to the 7 directions, and, said, thank you for the food, and went and put the food out in the water and came back in, and everybody could start eating. So I said, as soon as I'm done with my prayer, I said, then everybody can start eating as long as I go put this food out in the water or the fire or by a tree. I said, so as soon as I leave here, then everybody can start eating. So the minute I come back in, and then the spiritual advisor shows up, the one who was supposed to do the prayer for the food, and he goes, I said, hey, he goes, everybody's eating already? I said, yes. Where were you? He goes, I'm running a little bit late. I was like, well, I hate to tell you this, but we have elders here waiting, and that's not cool. I said, so, you're supposed to show up before 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
I said, even though, you can't, when you have elders waiting and you're still a younger guy, you should be already here before 6 o'clock.
Yeah. It's disrespectful.
So it's like, but yeah, I've been a polo singer for about 40 years, and I've traveled the United States and even some parts of Canada, contest singing, non-contest singing. I'm headed back to Hawaii in September. I was arena director over there. Because as soon as you get older, you start off as a singer, and then when you get to a level of be showing people that you're dependable and reliable, then you kind of bump up to arena director. And then when you get a little chubbier and you can't move that fast, and then you jump up to be a MC. So I'm at that MC part now, and then the next part is spiritual advisor.
Sweet.
So,
Sweet.
so as you start getting chubbier, you start moving up the ladder. A little older.
I don't think it has to do with your weight. I think it's about the age and the
Yeah,
experience.
so when the gray hairs start coming in, and then you just slowly start moving up the ladder a little bit. So, and then
So, what kind of advice would you give to the youth trying to get into the music industry or DJing or singing, stuff like that?
all you can do is do the best you can. Um, I've known people that have made their own CDs. You just have to kind of rely on, as little Bobby said, rely on the people that that to do the mixing, the mastering. He did his own mixing, mastering, but he relied on other people to do his graphic work.
Yeah.
He also did other work with really dependable people for his duplication or his reproduction of his music too. So you gotta get out there, and you gotta kiss hands and shake babies, or is it shake babies and kiss hands?
Yeah, don't shake the babies.
Oh
Don't shake the babies.
yeah, or kiss babies and shake hands.
That's it.
But
That's it. That's the one.
but you do have to do the legwork.
Yep.
And I always stick to who you are. Don't try to be somebody else. Be original. That's what I told. That's what I tell people. I was like, just be yourself, man. That's all you can do is represent yourself in your community. And when I go places, I represent myself. Terry Goodsky. I also represent my last name Goodsky. I also represent my reservation. So I don't try to go out and make a fool of myself. I go out and represent the best I can. And I even tried to make a CD one time, but I found out that my recording equipment that I was using or used that weekend was a little on the low technology end. So my music was popping, distorting. So
Subpar.
yeah, I spent the whole like a day and a half recording different drum groups. I had like 44 songs, and I thought they sounded good, but when I sent them off to a producer down in the cities, he sent me back. He sent me back my little digital stick, and he goes, "I can't work with." Then he sent me this 2 CDs. He burnt me 2 CDs. He goes, I'm sorry, Terry, but I can't work with it. I can't work with this." He goes, "It's whatever equipment you used wasn't up to par with what you were recording." I'm like, "Oh man, I had everything all lined up. I had the money. I had graphic people, reproduction people down in cities that were willing to work with me, and then all of a sudden I got these basically garbage 44 songs, and I recorded, 44 songs of the top drum groups in North America and Canada, and all my recordings are garbage. But I did give it a shot at one time. I was like, well, I know graphic people, I know mixing mastering people, and I was like, I'll give this a shot, and I found out that my equipment that I was using wasn't up to par. But
So
just
you didn't give up.
no, I gave it a shot, and I was like, well, I've been on enough CDs. I've helped produce CDs. I might as well give it a try myself. And the same thing with the artists that I've worked with for Muskie Days and it just stick to yourself. Be original. Don't try to be somebody else. Be original. Be yourself. And if you start off, you're not going to start off opening up for whatever. you're gonna have to, you know, bite the bullet, and you know, you have to start out the small little venues and stuff like that, and eventually, you know, people it'll catch on, and you'll get bigger and bigger and bigger. You know, but stay true to yourself. That's all you can do.
That's great advice. That's great advice. And don't give up. Don't ever give up. You meet the people, you talk to them. You see your elders out there, you see people out there making music. Wait until after the show. Go attend these live music and try to talk to them afterwards. They're just people too. And they want to share their knowledge with you. They want you to they don't look at other people as competition. They don't see this kid being interested in music. Don't be afraid to go up and ask them. Yeah, hey, what who can I talk to about this, or how can I do this?
Yeah.
Ask for advice.
No, I do that when I do my interviews. I interview like different people. I interview like I go to We Fest and you know, country singers. I go to what is that? Moondance Jam, Moondance
Yeah.
Rock.
I just went to Bobby and I went to that right before he passed away, and that's where I met a guest I had last month, Mark Anthony and the Shuffle Cats. They're going to be here at the bar on the 4th of July.
And when you meet people, it's just like, you know, and that's one of the questions. If I do an interview, I was like, what can you say to the next generation?
Yep.
What words of wisdom? You know, even the downfalls, the things to avoid. What can you say to the next generation of music that you want that you want people to aspire to?
Yeah.
You know,
Just don't give up. Well, we do have to end the show. Unfortunately, it's been great talking to you, Terry. Thank you so much for
I
being
would just
here and
just
sharing your knowledge.
I would just like to say shameless plug to Midwest All Star Wrestling, Throwing Mixed Martial Arts. Um, Anybody that I've worked with in the past, I'm still working with these groups. I'm still working with other groups. I'd like to just, you know, thank you for taking it, giving me a chance, and coming to work with you guys, and you know, learning from the people that are doing, you know, these shows. And as I said before, all I can do is represent myself and my tribe, and also all the Powell communities that I've worked with. And I'm still doing Powell's. I'm still thank you guys for the opportunities just to come have fun. This age.
Okay. Well, this is the end of our show. Thank you so much, Terry. And my babysitter's got to take off too. So tune in next week. We've got Sunday Wild, and she's got a prize package. We're going to have a little trivia for you. But thank you so much for everybody watching. Thank you, Terry, for being here.
Oh, another shameless plug. KKWE and KBFT. Thank you guys for taking a shot on the guy and, you know, hooking it up. Thank you guys.
Yeah. And thanks for everybody watching. We'll see you next week.
Guys, later.
Today's episode is sponsored in part by Grand Forks Best Source. They're a cutting-edge local media broadcasting studio with captivating shows, on-location event coverage, and unparalleled advertising opportunities. Grand Forks Best Source has become a haven for podcasters like me seeking to bring their visions alive. If you're a podcaster looking for studio or platform, or a local business seeking to advertise, go ahead and email Paul at local@gfbestsource.com. You can call him at 701-740-9337, or you can go to their website that's listed on your screen there, gfbestsource.com. Tell them Mama T sent you.